She could barely remember what it felt like to step forward without fear. Since the accident, every movement had been cautious, controlled, wrapped in metal braces and doubt. Inside an ordinary car workshop smelling of oil and steel, a moment was about to begin that no amount of money could predict. If you believe in compassion, hope, and second chances, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe for more stories. Let's begin. The car workshop was bright, clean, and painfully ordinary, filled with the steady rhythm of tools and the sharp scent of oil and steel. It was not a place where hope was expected to arrive. 16-year-old Emma Brooks stepped inside slowly, every movement careful, deliberate, rehearsed. Metal braces framed her injured leg, catching the light as she shifted her weight, fear tightening her shoulders. 2 years earlier, a devastating accident had shattered her athletic future and damaged the nerves in her leg beyond what doctors believed could be fully repaired. Since then, walking had become something she endured rather than lived. Beside her stood her mother, Natalie Brooks, a self-made billionaire whose success had always meant solutions. When doctors warned of limitations, Natalie funded innovation. When time was required, she bought speed. Elite surgeons, robotic rehabilitation, private clinics flown in from around the world, nothing had been spared. And yet, every expert reached the same quiet conclusion: Emma might never walk confidently on her own again. This visit wasn't for hope. It was practical. Emma's adaptive vehicle needed modification. No one expected the day to matter beyond measurements and invoices. While the car was raised and inspected, Emma noticed Caleb Foster, the mechanic assigned to the job. He didn't rush toward her or soften his voice with pity. He simply looked up, paused, and understood. Years earlier, Caleb had been forced to relearn how to move after a workplace accident crushed his knee and ended his athletic life. Doctors warned him that recovery would be limited, permanent, incomplete. He believed them, at first. But instead of fighting his body, Caleb learned to listen to it. He learned patience the hard way, through pain, setbacks, and quiet discipline. Movement returned slowly, built on awareness rather than force. Seeing Emma hesitate near the workbench, he recognized the familiar tension between fear and effort. Carefully, respectfully, he asked if she wanted to try something different. No machines. No promises. Just balance and trust. Natalie immediately hesitated. She trusted experts with credentials, not mechanics with oil-stained hands. But Emma surprised her by nodding. She was tired of being protected from disappointment. She wanted to feel effort again, even if it meant failing. Caleb adjusted Emma's stance with deliberate care, explaining each movement before touching anything. He spoke about how fear tightens muscles, how the body remembers more than the mind allows, and how balance begins long before motion. He guided her attention to breathing, to subtle shifts of weight, to listening instead of forcing progress. The workshop slowly grew quiet. Tools paused. Conversations faded. Everyone sensed something fragile unfolding. Emma's hands trembled as she inhaled deeply. Her muscles resisted out of habit, fear pulling her backward. Then, slowly, almost imperceptibly, her foot pressed down. Not dragged. Not supported. Pressed. Her knee held. It was only one step, unsteady and fragile, but it was hers. Natalie felt her breath catch as tears blurred her vision. For the first time since the accident, Emma wasn't enduring movement. She was reclaiming it. No applause followed. No one dared interrupt. Everyone understood that moments like this could break if handled carelessly. Emma returned to the workshop week after week. Progress was slow, uneven, and deeply frustrating. Some days she stumbled. Some days she felt weaker than before. But Caleb never rushed her and never framed healing as a straight line. Between oil changes and school pickups, he adjusted her exercises, reminding her that the body rebuilds trust at its own pace. Natalie watched quietly from the background, changing in ways she hadn't expected. She stopped treating recovery like a problem to conquer and began respecting it as a process to endure. Money could remove obstacles, but it couldn't replace patience, empathy, or lived experience. Gradually, Emma began walking short distances unassisted. Her brace became lighter, then occasional. Each step carried fear, effort, and exhaustion, but it was real. The workshop became a place of human connection rather than clinical limits. Months later, Emma walked unassisted across her school stage to accept an academic award. The auditorium erupted in applause, but one cheer stood out. Caleb clapped until his hands hurt, his young son perched proudly on his shoulders. Natalie watched with tears that no longer carried fear, only gratitude. Emma hadn't regained everything she lost, but she gained belief in her body and trust in herself. Natalie was changed as well. She quietly funded programs focused on dignity and access, avoiding recognition or headlines. She understood now that healing cannot be rushed or purchased, only supported. The story ends with a simple truth: the greatest breakthroughs don't always come from wealth or advanced technology. Sometimes they come from ordinary people willing to stand beside pain, walk patiently through it, and believe when others have already given up. Thanks for being here. Like and subscribe to keep more unforgettable stories coming.